Hey, Tactical, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Now, let me quickly tell you, back in about, I think it was 2018, could have been a bit before that, I bought an APS CAM870 and I had that one imported. So when it arrived, very excited, however, it didn't work. So I had to send it back and I never bothered to get it replaced. Until now. So I've bought the Mark II and the Mark III.
This is another Airsoft mic production.
Right, let's go. Okay, the CAM870 Mark II. Nice. And once again, it's very interesting to buy a product brand new in 2026 to see what you get now or what you don't get now compared to when it first came out. So it's good to see that they still include a shell catcher, a couple of cartridges to get you going, and a CO2 charger adapter so you can fill the shotgun with CO2. And of course, the beautiful Airsoft APS CAM870 itself. Oh, and an instruction manual. Right, the CAM3. Now this is where your 2026 purchase of this bad boy is not going to be what it used to be. So those of you who are familiar with the Mark III, you will know that the CO2 and how it's handled in this platform is different to the Mark II. It's actually going back to what the CAM1 used to be. And look, straight away you can see what they no longer give you and what you have to buy separately, because look, completely blanked out. So back in the good old days, you would get a charging adapter, you know, the full thing, not just the little red thing. You would get cartridge shells, you would get a cartridge catcher, you would get wads and sealing paper. Now you get nada. Look at the size of that. Well, I say nada. You do get an instruction manual, a virtual one, and of course, what matters the most, that baby. Right, so I'm not going to go too in depth on the Mark III or even the Mark II, to be honest, because it's not my first rodeo with this particular system inside of these Airsoft shotguns. I mean, take a look here. Don't have the wads or the seals, but don't worry about that. I'll be showing you around. Right, so this video will be in part 2. Part 2 will be in my new property, okay, farmland. I'll say no more. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. So visually you can see straight away the differences between the two. If you're not familiar with this platform, they will look identical. So apart from the obvious slightly different color tone to the real beautiful wooden stock, however, everything else in that area is exactly the same. So you've got those realistic looking recoil pads and your rear sling points. And then we get to the section where you will see the major differences in how they both operate and accept CO2. So the CAM2, as you can see, it has a little fill valve just there so you can put CO2 in. And on the CAM3, no such valve. Now, before I continue, they are exactly the same length, okay? It's just that one's behind, and how I've angled it, this one looks a lot shorter, but it's not. They're exactly the same in length. Now, remember earlier when I said the APS CAM870 Mark III is like a revisit to the original Mark I that is correct in many ways, apart from a few little tweaks here and there. So there has been this myth. I'm going to say it's a myth. I don't know if it's 100% true, but there was a little myth that when the original Mark I came out, the first time it came out, someone was able to convert it with certain parts and everything. I'll say no more. Since then, it has been proven, so I'm not going to call it a myth, it has been proven that that wasn't true. Not quite the story you think it was. However, APS decided, let's bring this one out again, and this time make it impossible to make it interchangeable with its real steel counterparts. And that's exactly what they've done with the Mark III. So setting aside them negating anyone trying to convert this bad boy, the improvements were also mainly to give you a better performance. Here are the cartridges that you can use with the Mark III. And here are the cartridges that you can use with the Mark II. You can see straight away the differences. Now, if you're not a fan of that system, there's another version of the Mark II cartridges you can get, as you can see there. So you would still use your waddings and your seals and your whatnots, but as you can see, you put the BBs in there, so it works much more like the Smart cartridges, which, by the way, comes in different colours, and you can also see the differences between the Mark III and the Mark II on the base. And also with the Mark III system, you can see the valve right there where you would put your CO2. Not so on the Mark II. Okay, so let's get both cartridges ready, starting with the Mark III. Now there are a couple of ways you can do this. You can use third-party equipment. So this one is from Tippmann. Nice. Pressurized. Now, as you saw earlier with the Mark III, they gave you no accessories at all. But luckily here in my little armory studio thing, I have that. So basically it has everything you need in there to get you going, so you can buy these separately. However, in my previous Mark III video, the other version of that shotgun, you saw how you can do things kind of homemade. So you would pop that in first, and as you can see, the base of it is solid, so it will seal off that little CO2 valve, and then the rest of it will hold your BBs up to 12, and that there will seal it off at the top. I mean, you could just use your hands to put a few BBs in there, but I'm extra. And then you just seal it off. Okay, so for the Mark II system, these cartridges, you literally just pop your BBs in each of these 3 holes. Now remember when I said there's certain things they don't give you anymore? Okay, this is the full-on CO2 charger kit right there, which you can get separately. I'm not going to take it out because I don't need to use it, but you know the one. But it's good to have this legacy version. So as you can see there, I've got a cartridge ready for each system, but I'm not going to put those in just yet. I want to make sure the whole mechanism, the whole pump mechanism works. So I've got 6 empty cartridges here. I'm just going to load up all 6. But note, you can put all 6 through the loading port and enter +1 in the chamber. Right, let's just make sure it chambers. Looking good. Now naturally at this point, you know there's no BBs in there, so I can Do that and get ready for the next cartridge. Come on! And just like its real counterpart, if you didn't want to pull the trigger and you just wanted to, load and eject, hold down your action release. Finger on the action release. There's another, because I put another one in. Nice. Right, let me quickly test the Mark II. Ooh, naughty! Look at that sling, or should I say slings? There's one over there too. And look, beautiful, real leather. And that's what I love about Airsoft, when they make things to scale. You can buy what is essentially designed for the real thing. Accessories, accessorize your Airsoft shotguns with beautiful things like this. So this for the buttstock right here, not only is it a cover there, gorgeous cheek rest, and if you look at the identical one on the other cam, that's the other side where you can hold 5 cartridges, absolutely stunning. And don't get me started on these leather slings. 6 cartridges, a nice little pouch there too. Okay, so I've done many Airsoft shotguns on my channel, so just very briefly before I do a quick test to see if it actually does shoot the BBs, very quickly, as you can see, they're beautiful, real wooden stock, full metal. Anywhere else that you see black. And of course here you have your safety switch, your trigger, your action release that I showed you earlier, a beautiful real wood fore-end, and above this beautiful fore-end you have your rear sight, which is adjustable. Nice. Although I don't think you're really going to have to adjust any sights on these bad boys. Come on. Having said that, believe it or not, the front sight is also adjustable. Nice. Now, as mentioned at the top of the video, they are pretty much identical, these two, between the Mark II and the Mark III. The only visual difference is, again, slightly different stain or tone on the wood finish. And of course, the Mark III that you're looking at, you don't put the gas there. Now, of course, as you would have seen at the top of the video, this is a part 1 video. To do these bad boys any justice, I'm gonna wait until I make that move, okay? I've already started packing things up. Some stuff has been moved to my man cave. There's a lot still in here. Not moving just yet, but it has started. And once I fully move to the new area, I'm gonna bring these bad boys back out and do a proper test. But for now, let me get some CO2 in the Mark II. Now I am going to be using this CO2 charger again to do that, but you may be more familiar with one of these. It's the same principle, however, that CO2 adapter is designed to screw directly onto one of these huge CO2 capsules, the 88 gram one. Nice. But as I said, I'm using this one right there. Now it may have some in there already, I don't know, hold on. Right, this is just for testing purposes, so I'm just going to pop one directly into the chamber. I got my iPro on, take it off safe. Nice. Okay, let's test the Mark III. Again, just gonna put it directly into the chamber. iPro still on, here goes. So there you go, people. These are the APS CAM870 Mark II and III shell ejecting airsoft shotguns. But like I said, the next time you see these twins on camera from my channel is once I have moved to the farm. Thanks for watching.